Championship Monday, Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP. You have Michigan going up against Louisville tonight. And no matter what happens, when I hear Michigan basketball, I think of one team, and that's the Fab Five. And they were legendary. Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, Ray Jackson, Juwan Howard. And I'm forgetting one guy. And he joins us on the hotline right now, and that's Jimmy King. Jimmy, happy Championship Monday. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
We're doing great, and it's a Championship Monday. You're down there in Atlanta, and I was saying in the intro, when people think of this Michigan basketball team, they think of your Fab Five team and what you guys did in 1991 and 1992, and I know you stayed at Michigan all the way through 95, but when Steve Fisher brought you five guys in there, you guys changed the game with the dunks and the long shorts. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Well, it was a dream come true for all of us to be in that light, to be on that stage, to reach the Final Four. Going in as most of us is highly touted, high school players, our dream was to win a national championship and to be talked about as one of the greatest teams or best teams in college. And when we achieved, that and reaching the finals, it was just a dream come true, and we wanted to represent the university, much like these kids for Coach Beeline are doing right now. So I can't be any more proud of them, and that's the reason why I'm down here in Atlanta to support Michigan and hopefully cut down the net tonight.
Jimmy Chase Sr. here. The recruiting process is so competitive. It was back then. It still is today. What was Steve Fisher's pitch to all five of you guys to bring you all to Michigan? Because you see around in the college basketball spectrum these days, it's hard to get even one top recruit, but Steve Fisher was able to get five top recruits in the Fab Five.
You know what sold it for me is that when he came to visit me, is that he didn't promise me anything, and that was refreshing. A lot of schools were saying, you're going to be our guy, you're going to be the man, and that was fine because I was definitely cool with that. But his approach was different in that when you come in, you won't be treated like you will be treated like everyone else. You won't be treated any differently, and I cannot promise you that you'll start or play. But I want you to come and be a part of the university. And to me, it was refreshing. And I think that's what, all the other guys kind of, gravitated to as well and kind of stuck out with them is that, we knew when we were good. We were good. We knew, or we at least felt that anywhere we went, we would start or get significant minutes. But Coach Fisher's approach was, 1 through 15, you guys are family, you guys are the same, and you will be rewarded in how much work you put in and how hard or how quickly you pick up the system, and that's what resonated with all of us.
You guys had a plethora of success at Michigan, and you guys were an electrifying state of basketball. Everyone wanted to replicate what the Fab Five was doing, and it's unfortunate the way it did end with the Chris Webber timeout, and you guys kind of did break up. I know you stayed to Michigan up until 95, and then you had the banners taken down. Is there at all a bitter taste in your mouth after all these years? It's been 20 years that those banners were actually taken down?
Absolutely. It was blood, sweat, and tears put into those. We played our hearts out for those, and not to see those banners represented, especially, at a prideful school and a school that has such a great following, it's just an empty, void. So with the band being up May 8th, hopefully we can have a discussion. I talked to Dave Brandon last night. He is willing to, have a discussion and figure out how we can at least represent that era. It may not be putting the original banners back up, but doing something where it's a banner with all 5 numbers, or a banner that says the Fab Five, but at least something that will acknowledge that era and time. So I'm looking forward to that day. And again, my Fab brothers will be down here tonight to cheer on this 2013 team, and again, hopefully cut down the net.
Wait, so all 5 of you will be in attendance tonight, even Chris?
Well, I've spoke with Jalen, Juwan, and Ray, and they will be here. I have not spoke to Chris, but we have reached out to him. We've texted him, we called him, and hopefully he will show up.
I think that would be a great moment, though, if Michigan wins the ship tonight, and you could kind of bury the hatchet a little bit between Chris and Michigan if he's there in attendance. I would have to imagine you feel the same way. He has to come tonight, in my opinion. He lives in Atlanta.
Absolutely. I mean, can you imagine what that would do to lift this basketball team up?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I don't see. I mean, I really couldn't. It would be a hard scenario for me to envision that team losing with the 5 of us sitting there cheering them on.
Right.
Maybe even, just walking through the locker room, shaking hands, giving them hugs, being in the huddle before they go out, and, cheering them on in the stands. To me, just to give you an example, when Chris went pro and came back, and we were juniors, and it was a big game against Indiana. We were vying for first place in the Big Ten, and we didn't know Chris was coming back, and he walked into the locker room. I mean, you could feel the electricity, and when he walked out on the court, the crowd, just the level of their intensity just picked up, and we went out there and played against a very good Indiana team and beat them by 20 just because of his presence. So, you can imagine that, by 10 tonight at the national championship.
Zach Gelb, Chase Sr. here with you. Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP. Championship game tonight. Michigan going on against Louisville. Jimmy King joins us on the hotline. And, Jimmy, you mentioned Chris, and they're going to talk about the timeout tonight either way, if he shows up or not. What do you remember from that championship game where you guys went down to UNC?
I remember, being in control, most of the game. It was a back-and-forth game, but I felt that we were in a position to win it, and nothing was different when Chris grabbed the rebound and took it up himself. And a lot of people ask, why didn't you or you being myself or Jalen come back and get the ball? But if you watched us at all that year, you knew that it wasn't out of character for Chris to lead a fast break.
He was an exceptional athlete.
Anyone, to lead a break. So, it was just an unfortunate time and error, a mistake, but, it happened. And again, I tell people all the time, my take on it is that we should have never been in that position for that timeout to have such an impact. In my opinion, we should have been leading at that point. But, hindsight is 20/20. The mistake was made, and it was just that. It was a mistake. We don't get there without Chris. We're not at that level without Chris Webber playing the way he played. So to, pinpoint him and to vilify him is just unfair to me.
When it comes down to it, when a kid in between the ages of 18 and 22 gets the chance to make millions playing their dream in the NBA, it's pretty hard to turn that down. But do you ever think in hindsight, if this group were to stay together for 4 years, what you guys could have accomplished? Because you put Michigan on the map, you took the nation by storm, and obviously in the 2 years that you all were together, you didn't get it done. But if you guys were together for all 4 years, anything was possible, right?
Absolutely. And I really believe that we would have won 2 championships. I do. I think that, our experience from freshman year to sophomore year, getting to the championships, I don't think anything would have changed our junior year. I think we would have been even more mature or even a better basketball team. So, and then, if we were fortunate enough to get to the championship and even win it, I think we could have repeated. I just believe in ourselves and I believe in our talent. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and it's the time and era was just changing then, where guys were top picks or top talent was rarely staying in college 4 years, and so for Chris to be a sophomore and to come out and be the #1 pick is drafted on potential. When they really figure out who you are, it seems that you drop in your status because, that question mark is removed on what you can do, what you can't do, what your ceiling is. It's almost like you get over-analyzed if you stay 4 years. So it was around that era where it was just time. It was time for him to go. He was the best player, and he had a great NBA career.
Jimmy King joins us from the Fab Five. Michigan in the championship game tonight going up against Louisville. Should be a classic. And Jimmy, you played in 2 championship games. Louisville does have some experience. They got to the Final Four last year, although they didn't make the championship game. Michigan, this is kind of new for them since you guys got to the ship back in '92. But what are the emotions leading into a big game like this tonight?
Excitement. You got to, and with all that excitement, all the hoopla, everything that's going around surrounding this Final Four, you have to be able to curb and kind of wrangle your emotions. You got to go about everything you've been doing, like how you've been handling your business all year. Today is no different. Today you prepare the same way that you prepared for the first game of the season. You go into your routine. You do the same things. You eat the same food. You listen to music if you do. If you warm up hard for 30 minutes before the game, you warm up hard tonight. 30 minutes before the game. You don't change a thing. The only difference is that it is the national championship. And one thing that you have to do is you have to enjoy it. You can't play tight. The team that's going to be loose is going to win. And what I witnessed the other night, watching Louisville, they looked a little tight. They didn't look like the team that, they have been in the past month. And I think if Michigan plays the way they've been playing for the past 3-4 weeks, they'll definitely eke out a victory.
Now, I'm sure you've kept a keen eye on this Michigan team throughout the whole season. They've been a top 5 team from start to finish, and they have a stacked roster with Trey Burke, Hardaway, Stauskas, Glenn Robinson III, and McGarry. But this is a very talented Louisville team on the other side with a very good coach in Rick Pitino. What are some keys for Michigan to eke out a victory over Louisville?
Michigan is going to have to do what they've been doing all year, which is putting up points, shooting threes, opening up the lane. And the biggest piece to the puzzle is Mitch McGarry. With him coming on, his dynamic.
He's added another element to this Michigan attack.
Absolutely. What he's done is now teams have to collapse on him or he's going to have a field day. And we've seen that. 25 and 14 points, 22, 21 points, 12 rebounds. This guy is, having monster games down there. So teams are going to have to pay attention to him. And in effect, that leaves Stauskas and Trey and Tim and Glenn to shoot threes and to keep that floor spread. And that's the difference. And I think that's why they're having a lot of success right now.
I think the big men are definitely going to play a factor in this game tonight, and Louisville does have some size as well. But as a former guard like yourself, you have to be excited seeing Trey Burke going up against Smith and Siva tonight.
Oh, it's going to be a great matchup. I think they really kind of cancel each other out. I think Russ is a great guard. I like him. I think they're the top 2 guards in the country. Evidence of, what they've done and their leadership and, the production on the court. Even though Trey didn't score a lot the other night, I think his floor leadership is one of a kind. And I think that's why he is Player of the Year, because he impacts the game at so many different levels. He doesn't always have to score, but when he's scoring, he's hard to stop. And Russ just, I really don't see anybody shutting this kid down. I like his game. And so it's going to be other guys to step up for both teams, and I like our chances with, I think we have more weapons. I think our offense lends to, guys having that opportunity. Even Karis LeVert coming off the bench, he hit some key buckets. He played very well. He scored the basketball. So I think for Michigan to be successful, they're going to have to put some points up and outscore Louisville. I know that's not, popular. You always hear defense wins championships, but I think the makeup of this team is unique, and I think they're going to have to outscore Louisville, and it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Jimmy, last one right before we let you run. Zach Gelb, Chase Sr. here with you for WHIP in Philadelphia. And I look at this game, and I really believe that Michigan's going to win because they're more athletic than Louisville from start to finish in this game. But Trey Burke's going to have a big game tonight. I know you mentioned McGarry, but if you were going up against Burke, how would you try to slow him down defensively to try to give Louisville a chance to win this game?
Really, to slow Trey down, that's a tough order. I think you have to double team him and make him give up the ball, make him kick it out to maybe Glenn or even Stauskas or Karras if he's in. I don't want him, quarterbacking the team and having a comfort level. I'm going to make it just as uncomfortable as possible for him. So you're going to have to make him give up the ball. And I think this team thrives on when Trey has the ball. I think they're used to him, quarterbacking with the ball in his hand most of the time. But when it's out of his hands, I don't think they flow as well, and they look uncomfortable at times. So I would double team Trey every time he starts to penetrate and make him give up the basketball.
Jimmy, I could definitely sense the chemistry between you and I during this interview because we actually share the same birthday, August 9th. So I knew you were going to be great going into this interview, but I appreciate the time today. I hope Chris does show up tonight and you guys see a championship. So best of luck and thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Anytime. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Jimmy King right there. August 9th, baby. That's how it's done. You got to have the same birthday as me, and you know it's going to be a good interview.
I might have to go out and do some research to see, hey, who's born on January 10th? Can I bring him in for a radio interview? And if so, let's see how our chemistry goes when question to answer.
Michigan, Louisville tonight. We have our predictions. You will hear them next. This is Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP.